Hi there, and welcome to day 3 of the Fabricator Live. I am here with the one and only Barbie the Welder. Barbie, how are you?
Oh, I'm so grateful to be here. Coming to Fabtech is just coming home. It's not only the education and seeing the new technology, it's the family. I could not be happier to be here.
Yes, we're in person, and that's been the big theme, I think. Every booth that I've been to, all the presentations that I've heard, it's just, hey, we're back, we're in person. So what's it been like for you, seeing all these people that you've connected with on Instagram and reaching out to you over the last few years? What's it like to see everybody face-to-face live for the first time?
It is the greatest gift. I'm grateful to Fabtech and for all the people behind the show for staying the course with that. We need this. Our industry needs that community, and yeah, oh my gosh, it's all my brothers and sisters. Ones that I've known for years, and ones that I just haven't even met yet.
Yeah, you have been extremely busy the last 2.5 days. So for anybody that's not here, just give a shout out to just what you've been doing, what your schedule's been like, who you've been seeing, what booths you've been to, because you've been all over the place.
Came out here with American Welding Society, and I'm so grateful to them. Thank you guys. I have spoken with them two different panels. One about the Art to Art project that Stephanie Hoffman and myself got to do thanks to American Welding Society. And the Statue of Liberty is here in their back booth, so go see her. She's, oh my gosh, to see her in person. We also spoke about how social media has impacted our businesses in showcasing welding in the welding industry, which is so cool. Oh my gosh, there's been so much. We did a Women in Welding breakfast, which was so amazing, and I got to meet so many new women in welding. There's a lot of gentlemen there too, which was really great. We did a meet and greet after that. Earlier today, I was in the Cameron Manufacturing and Design booth here in the metal forming side of Fabtech. Cameron Manufacturing and Design is where I worked and where I welded and learned to weld and fabricate. And so you'll go over and hang out with them, and got to talk to a whole bunch of students coming through, and just told them, like, you need to go work with these guys. They're an amazing company to work for. The skill level is so far up there. And here I am.
And here, yeah.
And here, oh, I'm so excited.
So the Women in Welding breakfast. Talk to the viewers a little bit about what that's all about and how they can get involved, and maybe some conversations that you had with some women there.
Oh my gosh. The Women in Welding breakfast was put on through the American Welding Society, and gosh, it was so incredible. It's bringing the women in the industry together. I can speak for myself. I'm normally alone in my shop. I know many of the women because we're still, much lower now. I think 4% of all welders are women.
Between 4 and 5%. I think that's kind of the benchmark. Not the benchmark, but that's really we haven't elevated that.
So most of us are onlys in our shop. We're the only woman, or one or two. And so having that breakfast is just a beautiful way for the Welding Society to bring us all together and allow us to create new relationships, connect with old relationships, and just, so much fun. My favorite thing for that is asking women how they found welding. Asking everyone who will even come and talk to me, like, how did you find welding? Because the stories are amazing. The courage, like these women that are taking a career that they thought they'd be happy in and changing careers. Just there's so many career changers that and that takes courage. It takes complete courage. So it's really exciting to meet the students who are about to go into welding school, and then the women who have been in the industry for years, and the ones that are just transitioning from.
Right. So the students that are just about to embark on a career, what kind of questions do you get from them, or what's the most common question that you get from them?
Oh my gosh, I really haven't, they haven't asked me a ton of questions. A lot of it has been I'm asking them how they found it. I'm so curious because there's so many different ways to get into the industry. A question I asked, a young lady asked me today about the art side of welding, which is still getting feel like it's still getting kind of traction because it's not as, it's a very I don't want to say not popular career, but it's a non-traditional path in welding. I feel like that's a good way to say it. Yeah, she wanted to know about that, and because she says this is where I would like to go. Is like I would like to go into the art, which really makes my heart sore because of, oh my gosh, welding is an amazing career to begin with, and just learning to weld is an art. When you can take that and you just start fabricating and creating, and there's no limits to what you can make. And for me, I talked to her about learning the fabrication side of welding. That's what allowed me to then go and teach myself the art. Was that learning fixtures and jigs, learning how to say, like, I know I've got to put this at a 90, and I've got 100 pieces that I have to put at a 90 degrees. What kind of fixture or jig could I create that's going to allow me to do this fast, make my job? And so that problem solving, that having a how can I attitude is like, all artists are literally just problem solvers. So just kind of explaining that to her.
Yeah, I was sitting in, I think it was Monday or Tuesday when you and Stephanie Hoffman were talking about, over at the AWS booth, you guys were talking about your Statue of Liberty sculpture, and I actually got a chance to see it today. I walked through the trailer. It's really cool. For those that weren't able to tune in or visit and listen to you guys talk about it, take us through the fabrication process, because it's something that actually started here 2 years ago, correct? You guys met and you formed a plan, and then it kind of developed from there. So take us through that.
So Stephanie Hoffman and I met at Fabtech 2019, and happened to run into her. I have been following her on social media. Check out Underground Metalworks. She is incredible. Love her so much. Brilliant woman, amazing fabricator. So she's like, you know what? I believe it was Monica from AWS was like, you two should get together on a project. And so after Fabtech, we had a few conversations. It took us a little bit because we had, like, they were like, oh, maybe we could do bookends, maybe we could do this. But we wanted to do something as a collaborative project to showcase women in welding and art in the welding industry. And the ideas weren't hidden. They're like, oh, that would be cool, maybe like do this, and like all that. And I'm like, look, ladies, if we're going to do something, it has to be impactful. It has to be this wow moment. And Stephanie, who is amazing at drawing, and I can't draw to save my life. Stephanie was just amazing at drawing. Had drawn these stickers of the Statue of Liberty, like this little cute little cartoon Statue of Liberty, and I think she had a welding torch. But I was like, Stephanie says this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And it was super scared to both of us, and we're like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it, because that's, you push yourself as an artist, that's how you grow. So what we decided to do is I would sculpt the actual Statue of Liberty, and Stephanie would sculpt the base, the AWS code book, and the weld hood, the international symbol for weld hood. I do have to. This is me putting my weld hood down.
Or maybe it's like this.
Oh yeah, a weld hood. So Stephanie worked in her own garage, in her own shop in New Jersey, and I worked in my shop in New York. Never working together. Yeah. She built the base, and it was just a tremendous amount of communication. I was super scared about the project because I have never collaborated with another artist. Super alpha, I'm in charge, I know how things have, I know how things have to look, how they have to be, and so letting go of some of the creative was really difficult. But man, she definitely, like at first it was really difficult, but Stephanie's work ethic and her craftsmanship is second to none, and is deeply just like blew my mind. And really she pushed herself, like both of us pushed ourselves. It was 3 months to make the Statue of Liberty, but through the communication, it's like, so I've got her holding a torch, holding a welding torch, and then holding the AWS code book. Well, like we're in two different shops, so it's like, how do you make that happen?
Exactly.
So like that hand has to be the exact. So talking back and forth, I made a dummy book. I made a book that was like, here's the size it needs to be, gave her the measurements, and then she made a book. Okay. Exactly meeting the measurements, and I mean, like, it's match made in heaven. So we each got our halves of this project done. We came together in New Jersey as a friend of hers shop. We had a week to put all this stuff together and to weld an American flag together. That's down, like draping down the front of her. And that was definitely this many long days of really hard fabrication. The flag is completely, we MIG welded that, completely MIG welded. I have to stop and think that. Completely MIG welded, 1/4-inch round bar, like to get that beautiful flowy shape. But we had, like, she had an idea at first of like how, like, we're gonna, you know, like let's do this. And so we actually started down a path, which happens with art all the time. You start down a path and you're just like, that's not going to work. We're gonna have to backtrack a little bit. So we went, you know, a little bit down a path, so, you know, we need to change this up, and then had to backtrack to it. The flag has been gold leaf, and Stephanie's amazing at that. I've never even touched it before, and she taught me how to gold leaf.
What is that? I mean, it is.
Oh, that's a wrong question to ask me. That is leaf that is gold that you glue onto metal with a little brush. It goes everywhere, and then my hands are sticky for 3 days.
Because it looks like it's very seamless. You can't tell that that's. I mean, it's very much a part of the sculpture, and it looks like it was meant to be there. So
it is meant to be there.
I know, but like kudos to her. It's an incredible work.
Brilliant. So once we got the flag actually even welded, I think it was 4 tries to get how the stars look, how the lines are going to be. When you drape material, you just take something and it's just like, it just does.
Yeah.
So it's like we're literally like, what does a flag look like if you were to take it and sash it across it? Oh my gosh. And she's the drawer. Is that the right word? The drawer. She's the drawer. That is a word now. She, you know, and just like, I'm like, I think it should be this way. And so she started, and she's like, no, girl, that is not right. And so just like the 2 of us together, and she really led the way with like how that flag is laid out. Magnificent.
Yeah,
it's magnificent. I could not be more honored to put my art with hers. And I just like, we both pushed the heck out of ourselves to. I mean, like you're talking about, you get one shot to do this.
Yeah.
So, like, and now other women are looking at it. Other fabricators and welders will just say that, like, are looking at it, and it's just art is such a personal thing. Like you literally just pour your heart and soul out. It is through you that, you know. Yeah. And so it's just like, this has to be right. Like this, like the American Welding Society. I'm like, oh my gosh. So tremendous amount of pressure. So grateful for it, and. Yeah, she totally and completely rocked it. Just amazing to work with her.
You both did. And if you're at the show or going to be at the show, you need to check it out. It's in the trailer, all the way back in the welding hall, in the AWS trailer. Take a look. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit before we sat down. I think we had a whole interview before we even sat down for this. But you told me a story about Arcs and Ales last night. That's an AWS event about a girl who was there, and I thought it was a great story. And there might be a lot of girls here that are welders or hopeful welders, and who are just walking around this place like, where do I go? What do I do? This is so overwhelming. It's always overwhelming when it's your first show.
Oh my God.
But would you mind telling that story? I thought that was an incredible story.
We were at Arcs and Ales last night, which is it was like an after show event where welders get together, drink beer, and talk crap like we love to do. And I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh, I love these. There's a young lady who was off to the side, and like this, you don't ever want to be alone. You see someone that's alone, you pull them in. She is very new into welding and is just literally like completely and utterly overwhelmed. And yeah, just brought her. She had the courage to come here by herself. I have so much just utter and complete respect for her. 21 years old, and just told 4 hours on the train to come here and by herself. So yeah, and just was very nervous, but a friend had pushed her to go and was just like, you need to go, like this is, and courageously went on her own, which is just amazing. and yeah, got to meet her, got to talk to her. Very nervous, very unsure of like where to go, what to do, doesn't know anybody, and just welding is a community. We are a family, and it's, I work alone in my shop. It is sometimes lonely, and I know how that feels, like especially coming to a big show like this. I came here alone also, but this is my third time. I already know, I know the family aspect of it and how we're a community, and so it's just finding these people that are like, if you see someone walking alone, I mean, like, don't freak them out. They're like, hey, come hang out with us, or how did you get into welding? It's such an amazing, like, conversation starter with people, just asking them, because we're all passionate about welding. We wouldn't be here if we weren't, whether we're, no matter what capacity that we're here in, we all love welding. And so, yeah, like events like the Women in Welding Breakfast, which she was at that also.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just, it's bringing the community together. It's finding the people that are not sure what to do, or are out here alone. And it's just finding them, befriending them, and letting them know how amazing welding is as a community, as a brother and sisterhood. Bringing them into your group, because we do group up, because there's people that I've known for years, like, whether it's through social media or in person, and we end up with our little, like, this is my, bring them into your group, show them how amazing it is. You're going to find some new incredible welders that are going to blow your mind.
So switching gears just a little bit, again, you've been really, really busy, but have you had a chance to walk the show floor a little bit?
Two here and two there.
Yeah.
My schedule is much lighter tomorrow. I did greedily take an extra day before and after to have, so I will be here all throughout tomorrow. And I got yelled at by my dad, because my dad's been following this on social media. He's like, what are all those bags everyone's carrying around? And I'm like, those are like people, like the booths are giving away stuff. My dad is like a freebie addict. And so he read me the riot act this morning on like, why haven't I heard about this? Why didn't I get invited?
There's freebies everywhere. Yeah.
Dad, I'm at work. But tomorrow, like, I was like my mission tomorrow is to spend at least an hour getting my dad.
Okay, well, there's sunglasses on the table, 20 feet away, so I'll grab a few.
I'm going to bring him a pair of sunglasses. I did see it. I'm going to selfie with him this time. I'm like, you can have these, but we have to selfie with them when we're going on Instagram.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you're looking forward to seeing, or is there anything that you're looking for, equipment-wise?
Yes, I would like a whole shop full of equipment.
Yes, she would like a whole shop full of equipment, so let's make it happen.
Let's start with, I need to find the metal building company that makes bigger shops. I'm still working out of a one-car garage, so I am at maximum capacity in my shop, but I am definitely going to look into the metal finishing. There's a lot of stuff about, I'm finishing my sculptures right now with powder coating. I have a powder coating company I work with out of Corning, New York. It was amazing. I love you, Toby Crow. They just did the firefighter sculpture for me.
Oh yeah, okay.
Gosh, the finish is just so grateful for that. But as an artist, I want to play. I want to give my clients different options, and so I am going to definitely do some investigation into some different metal finishes that I'm so excited to learn about. Yeah,
the show is it takes a different look when you don't have an agenda, when you can just walk and then stop in here or stop in there and just talk to people and see, if you see something cool, technology-wise, you can check it out and ask about it. So one thing that you and I did talk about ahead of time, I had mentioned that I went to a conference yesterday about workforce culture, and the woman, her name was Lisa Ryan. She actually stopped in here while you were speaking with someone else, but the message was the culture changes once you start showing gratitude for what's around you in your life. And when she said that, I thought of you, because even in this 15-minute video, you have expressed gratitude to so many people and to so many things. And it's very genuine. So I, just speak on that. And it's, people might look at that and say, well, she's just saying that to say that, but it's real. It's a genuine thing, because you've come from a place where it was rough. You had a rough start to things, and the gratitude you have for welding and for your life right now is very real.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with that.
I know it's not really a question; it's more of a statement. But
you're 100% right on. The gratitude mentality changed everything for me. I just went through so much like negativity in my life that when I did, and like these were like I made this up here. My parents are amazing parents, provided an incredible upbringing for me, but just through some stuff I've been through, just totally mentally just created a crappy life for myself. Finding welding changed all of that. Now, I didn't set out to change any of that. I have dealt with depression, anxiety, like just negative. I was suicidal for years and had no idea that wasn't normal. Like, just had no idea. It was part of who I've always been. And finding welding, I went from inside my head of going, oh, poor me, you're a single mom and you're low income and you have to stand in the food line and oh, you're homeless or you're a drug addict, you're like all these things. Like instead of that, when I found welding, it became a how can I mentality. I stopped like all the monkey mind, gobbledygook that we go through, and it's still there. I mean, like it's still there. But I'm so hyper aware of my thoughts today, and it started out with how can I be a metal sculptor? Like, wow, like I know dang well I am meant to do this, which is like the most ridiculous thing ever considering, and like I've lived it and it's still weird. Mm-hmm. But how can I be a welder? How can I be a sculptor? And then learn to weld and then go into that, and then I was having like these little successes. Like I finally saved up the money to go to school. I went on this mission, and it wasn't intentional, but throughout that, it just, having those little baby successes, it started building self-esteem, and it started building the self-worth and the self-love and the pride and craftsmanship has always been in my life because my father raised me with that pride and craftsmanship. He's a craftsman through and through. And gosh, as it moved forward, I mean, like, because I've gone so long with, I'm going to say nothing, which, I mean, I've always had stuff, but my mental attitude was that I had nothing. Amazing children, and they're like, what else? Oh my gosh, just so lucky to be a mom. But these little successes, it was just like, oh, that's cool. And like, next thing you know, like, I started like really like loving myself. A lot of the anxiety, like, was like all that stuff was going away, and I just kind of like level up, and then after a while, it like realized, I just kind of realized on purpose like how I'd done it, but because I had gone for so long without, in my mind, without, going into welding, like I fixed my credit. I bought a house on my own. Like no one co-signed for that. Like that was me. You want to talk about a major win? And like I've never had stability in my life since I was a kid. Since I moved out of mom and dad's house, since I ran away from mom and dad's house at like 13. And so I was able to give my son stability, and like that home means more to me than I can ever say, which because it was the garage was attached to it, or the house was attached to my garage. I bought a Jeep, which has been my dream vehicle for years. We sold that for a truck because you can't haul steel in a Jeep. You can, it's just awkward for everybody. But just started to build my life, and just because it's, my son, when he was, I think he was 3 years old, like I didn't have a vehicle, but we had to get groceries. And we had his plastic wagon, and he would sit in the wagon, and I would pull him to the grocery store, and then he would have to sit on the groceries to come back home. Oh. And so, to own a vehicle, and trust me, I've owned a ton of beaters since then, but at that moment I didn't. And so like all these things, and like working at Cameron Manufacturing and Design, like they paid me so well, they taught me so well, so I had just, oh my gosh, how can you not be grateful? Like when you go into a company and say, I think I'm worth $10, I would like $10 an hour. Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought I was worth $9, I asked for 10, so I had wiggle room. But, and they go, we're going to give you $13 an hour to start. Like, how do you not be grateful for something like that? So that gratitude it just, slowly over time transitioned. But today I'm just like, I will never, ever, ever, ever take for granted that I am a fairy princess in a Disney movie. Like, I mean, things could not get any better. And then they do, and then I'm like invited onto the Fabricator, and AWS is like, will you make this sculpture? And Harley Davidson is, will you make this sculpture? And they're like, will you speak for us? And it's just, and then you meet people who are just like, I got into welding because of you. Like, oh my gosh, how can you not be grateful? Like literally because I had courage to believe in myself, like someone else saw that, I'm like, I want to cry, I want to shake, like how can you not be grateful for that? And then people pay me to make art that I love, and I get to weld every darn day. Like,
how can you not be grateful?
How can you not be grateful?
I think that is the perfect place to end, and thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate. I'm grateful that you took the time. Absolutely. I hope you see whatever it is that you're looking to see tomorrow. It'll be a fun day, please. We have another Fabricator Live tomorrow, starting at 11 o'clock. If you want to find us, we are on the socials. Find us on LinkedIn. Find us on Instagram. Barbie, where can we find you?
All your favorite social channels: LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yes.
6 books. I've written 6 books. Find me on Amazon. Find me on the Fabricator Live.
Yes. Do we have any questions? Anybody have any questions? No questions. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.